Mirchi FM is #1 in Singapore.
I love Mirchi FM, it's so hot.
देखिए मैं लाल लाल खाए में हाय हाय टंगी टंगी ताऊबा में मिर्ची FM बहुत
Here at Rugby Town, Singapore, love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot. Mirchi FM is #1 in Suva.
It's hot.
मिर्ची FM बहुत जुलूम जुलूम
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
In this bulletin, vehicle vandalism, stones thrown at vehicles with Fiji First logos and banners. Campaign heater, Bainimarama and Rewa Chief exchange words on government policies. A new school policy to protect students from natural disasters. Good evening and welcome to FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Vehicles belonging to supporters of the Fiji First Party have been vandalized. Channel 7 reports supporters who carry the Fiji First banner or logo on their vehicle have been targets of stone-throwing culprits.
Vehicles, mainly taxis bearing the blue colors and logo of the Fiji First Party, is now a common sight on our roads. Only recently, reports of vandalism have cropped up. Windscreens are getting smashed by stones. FBC News spoke to one of the victims. He wished to remain anonymous.
I took my vehicle to Woody, South Missouri. I was taking one job. So when I dropped the job, I was returning back towards city. So a group of Fijian guys, they put a stone at my vehicle. They damaged the back screen because I got the Fiji First logo at the back of the screen. I didn't stop the vehicle because I was alone in the vehicle and it was night.
Fiji First General Secretary Ayaz Syed Kayum says people should not be intimidated and report such matters to the authorities.
We have received a couple of people who have told us that people have been threatened. A couple of cars had stones thrown at them. Obviously, you know, this is the kind of level of thuggery that the other political parties or their supporters engage in.
The Fiji Police Force says it cannot take any action as yet because there hasn't been any official complaint lodged by the party.
Yeah, there should be an official complaint lodged at our various police stations or written to us through any correspondence in regards to such incident that had happened, or in the presence of any police officer, any breach of the law is done, he can definitely take actions into it.
It cost me $300 to buy a new boot. So I just took a new boot and I changed the whole of the boot. I am really scared about it, so I just don't want to put any more of the any other party's logo in my car.
I'm here at the Matua Taxis in Mid Road, Nambua, where you can see most of the cars have the Fiji First banner. I'm speaking with the chairman of Matua Taxis, Mr. Ratu Balai Levuka. Mr. Levuka, I've seen you that you have a lot of taxis with the Fiji First sticker. FBC News has got confirmation that some of the cars have been vandalized. What's your stand on having these stickers?
Yeah, all of our taxis are fitted with these stickers, and we haven't come across that story about that vandalizing the taxis. But we are proud. We appreciate this government for what he has done to us, grassroots people.
How many taxis do you have the Fiji First sticker on?
103 taxis.
103 taxis, and as the chairman, what is your stand on taxis being vandalized? Aren't your drivers intimidated by this?
No, we are not intimidated.
A stern warning has also been given by the police. Any offender will be dealt with. Channel Shivan, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has sent a message of condolence to the Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott for the 28 Australians killed in the recent Malaysian airline crash in Ukraine. In a letter, Bainimarama extended sympathy and support on behalf of the Fijian government and the Fijian people, adding he is deeply saddened by the loss of lives and devastation that has occurred. Malaysian Airlines flight MH17 was reportedly hit by a missile over Rebel Hill area in Donetsk region in Ukraine on Thursday. All 298 people on board died. And old rivalry stirred during a recent Fiji First campaign between party leader Voreqe Bainimarama and a Rewa chief who is known to be opposed to the current government. A little over 100 people attended the campaign in the Sodelpa heartland of Nokorovo in Rewa last week. Apisalame Doka reports.
If you are in Sodelpa country, some opposition is to be expected. Rewa Chief Ro Filipe Tuisawao was part of the audience and was not going to let Fiji First return without some hard-hitting questions.
We all participated in the Yasgai Commission, and we were hoping that would be the constitution. But unfortunately, that did not happen. So for us, that is it is a disappointment that the 2000 constitution was created, but without our knowledge as to who did it and without consultation. Democracy or any society which functions harmoniously, everything must be done by consensus. But unfortunately, sorry to say this to you gentlemen, everything that I see is imposed. Nothing was done by consensus.
Tulad sila na po sa wadaro sa gobyerno ni Puno na bitalo ni consensus. Na consensus may lang may sanango, tagay may bitalo, may basic na kanong consensus. E na consensus na po ni binakata. Na consensus membali na muto-muto, si consensus membali na rarama. Ya na consensus ko ni tuno jugo, e na siguro ni yato may nabitalo nongod. Kaya mabalik indo e binakata na rarama, may na fosta ka ni na issue ni rarama. E na rin isang membok ng muto-muto. Na muto-muto ureda juga unimbasi ka juga may na bitalo ni ako to juga may. Ono ngay ito ngay bitalo kan ono suli bikam ni nangon mo ni bitalo no ngay posakin. Ni posto ka na bitalo ni bosule buka turanga. Ni satu na sarjo nga may hindi bilang na juga lo maraba ka politika. Ni sa politik ngawir na juga lo sa politik kita saranga. Nam bosule buka turang. Ano siguro na waseta ni, uro na juga lo ma pati ka nam bosule buka turang. Uno no mutaranga in navital no ya mer matata ci governo ni no ando na consensus sapo na consensus navital no talanga bias gai ya dal sarbo li num ni nunuma ni so nga bi kum ni amay potulawa may siniado anta potulawa ke de na buno wici e binaka ci navital no ngono ko poso tuki na membasi ka na binaka e si binaka ci navital no membasi ka may non the constitution men na constitution magawa siyang ni pinaka sini bakatutubat de kin ni bunovich isindo ay kautalebi may kautalebi kanale tawke non dandondo na non tabanwa ha sini na kini constitution may pakamatay kanale tawke ni non tabanongo.
Ro Filipe was not satisfied with what was said and returned with his concerns.
Ani bagamuri dan kini karo talanga ni kimemina engine ni tubun new sara bitu no sama politik. Yo kami talanga ni bandiki kami nicu nandoni politik. Nanom ni ngolamai. Ni na nambuli lao sena kain ndona bunwa ina demokrasi se ndona bunwa visau tu taki. Embuli awir na kime minding tak. Ana kau be bambi mita jo kime mbalya. Nalawa se awni wala na bina kame rambuli awir na nding tak ndalin bunwa.
Na kau be tunanga ni sini tukuna ni tomay ng buto-buto. Uto na juga ya una bosa ni tuku na consensus. Na consensus ya amenda may vital no attack. Nando na vital no. Ya nangonongo nang bulo mga politik nangonongo. O ya uray da. Na vital no ni buto-buto ala ko may nang bagiro dulo buto na vital no ni samsaba. O ako ta may naronon dul kawano. Kaya bata uwi kami ni. Ebi na muna ni vitu kina na vital no ni consensus. Ni vital no na buno ni buto-buto. Sa isang amay ng buto-buto, sa isang amay na kauwi na kata. Nabitalon sa sama. Nabitalon ka ko. Nabitalon na may dapat siya ko. Nabitalon awa ako tamo yaw. Nung itutubo kay lilo ng matibal. Nung kailangan na joke kami ni. Hindi ako na do abitalon na bata na kaya ba George Spade. Do ala ko may do lebi dan do ako chukwa may bitalon na bata ng boss lilo ko turang. Awasing do ako tekin. Hindi kailangan na joke kami. Nabitalon ko awa ko to may nambagiro nondolu nangono stawa kina na warwara ni nonda bunwa nam butum-buto ni nonda bunwa au saray da kina mesandala ko nando na bichibo sa sanga dalingay ngona ni bitalo no amenda may consensus juko mendaro ni bondon ni so nam butum-buto ay ko may na bitalo talisan do Aramay bale mate kina na suti na kemban mate bolu. Sige mate ningu na meram bale mate na suti na non tabanua. Na vital no ni buto ko sangay chungo me ko may wana consensus ko na vital no ta chungo. Na vital no ni constitution. Na vital no constitution kay ito pakadala na kaso no constitution na santo na legal lebu sa chuba. Kay ito talaga tu nimbaya chugo non dai to no kay mi santo talaga na legal lebu chuba. E chugongo na fije na Facebook raida chugo na kana titi baki na kambali chicken tani toke re una kana chairman ongo ni toke e chugo talanga na toke affairs na ministry of toke affairs e titi baka chugo na kambali chin toke tani toke kendo kila chugo chugo nimbaya e sising ni durumai na vital no eta ka chugo mai visinga wana fije na Facebook patake na ministry of toke affairs.
Bainimarama says people need to make wise decisions during the upcoming elections. Apisalome Dhoka, FBC News.
The safety of students and teachers during natural disasters is one of the areas addressed in a new school safety policy. The policy has been released publicly by the Education Ministry, Save the Children and UNICEF. Rashika Kumar has the details.
Students are one of the most vulnerable groups during natural disasters. Their lessons are disrupted when classrooms are used as evacuation centers, equipment damaged in disasters like floods, and some lose all their possession necessary for school. A new policy has been developed to ensure students continue to receive education during a disaster, as the right to education is a human right.
We will be proactive when disaster strikes, and we will ensure that the safety of our students and the teachers are not compromised when disaster strikes, and the teaching and learning not to be affected at all.
The policy is aimed at clarifying the roles and responsibilities of schools during times of disaster.
So looking at safe school facilities, which was to a degree in place before under previous policies, but also addressing the curriculum in the classroom and talking how students understand natural hazards and disasters, especially in their community, but then also looking at school planning, so looking at the way schools can address risk reduction in their wider school environment, and also looking at how that relates into their community and taking some of those lessons learned.
The ministry also wants to upgrade schools that are used as evacuation centers so that it is safer for students and the evacuees.
For the first time, the ministry will appoint a disaster management officer who, with the disaster section of the ministry, will address natural disaster risk management in schools. Rashika Kumar, FBC News.
Stay tuned. Still to come on FBC News, 200 new trees planted to save community that has been subject to numerous floodings.
Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about Vatukola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. You're with FBC News. Now, 200 new plants have been planted in Gawea settlement in Lami to help the community mitigate against climate change. Gawea has been subject to recent flooding, damaging homes and root crops. Alan Stoltz reports.
Gawea is categorized as a community vulnerable to flooding and riverbank erosion given its location along the riverbank. More than 30 staff of ANZ, WWF and Lami Town Council joined forces to plant the trees, aimed at strengthening the riverbank and also form a buffer against flooding.
So we thought about some of the projects that we had, and one of the ones that we currently have in place is with the Lami Town Council and UN Habitat on building resilience towards climate change. And the project site is Lami, which was ideal because it's not too far from the urban center.
The organizations hope that the fruit-bearing trees planted will be beneficial, not only for a source of food, but also as income.
Yeah, the project is not only this project, the other projects that we are doing with the community to deal with the environment is important, because if we don't look after environment, then we will fail to exist to do business in these communities and in this environment.
These are just some of the initiative that we took it up as to be some of the adaptive features of this flooding and the landsliding. for us to come and plant these trees and mangroves along the Lami River.
I'm here at the Ngawea River, where residents have told us that in February, when this very river burst its banks, it had their homes inundated with mud and silt, and most of the residents lost everything. They're still trying to recover from that flood. The effects of climate change can be felt in the eyes of those at the forefront, like Numaya Vati. He's been living here all his life and says the February floods were the worst.
During the February floods, the water rose more than a meter, and this is where the water level rose up to.
We were just staying at home, and suddenly the flood comes into our village and go through the village. You see the higher we stay and the water coming, and it all just cover all the villages.
To some, planting these fruit trees might not seem like it will provide immediate help for this community, but one thing is for sure, it will serve to benefit the future generation as a source of food for these villagers. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Pizza King Limited started over 20 years ago and has surpassed the popularity of major international restaurant chains in Fiji. In tonight's Successful Fijian segment, our journalist Rashika Kumar takes a look at how the restaurant came to be what it is today.
The Pizza King started with a small restaurant at Harbour Centre in Suva in 1986 with only 12 staff. Now the company, which owns the popular Wishbone outlet, is over 220 staff in 5 restaurants, a nightclub and a coffee shop in Brasilia.
Actually, any business, you have to take risk. And then I took a big risk actually opening this place, Pizza King, and then I've been successful with it. And then I started opening other places, other outlets, and they were all successful. And then I'm doing very well with my business. In fact, actually, I don't owe anybody anything. It's all my business are free, and so I'm doing very well.
Born and bred in Reki, Nath moved to Suva in 1972 with only 2 pairs of clothing at hand. He worked 16 hours a day in a restaurant where he gained the motivation to start his own business. But it hasn't been a smooth sailing for the company.
The problem in 87, there was a coup, and then there was a big risk, but I managed to survive that. And the biggest problem I had was back in year 2000, when there was another coup, and all my shops, the Wishbone, the Pizza King, and the Crown of India was all broken. Actually, nothing was left. So I had to restart all those businesses.
Nath says his mantra for success is to be honest, look after the customers well, and provide a good service to customers.
Very clean restaurant, very tasty food, parking available, very convenient, and very friendly staff.
I like this place because the service is good and the food's really good and cheap.
I like how the food is cheap and how the service is really good and quick, and how this place is open to customers.
Many people enjoy the food at the restaurant, especially the chicken. They have often wondered if the story on the box is true. Did the Chinese gentleman really leave his recipe with the manager?
And that's our recipe actually, and yeah, there's a lot of spices are mixed together and trial and error, and then come to, a recipe actually, yeah.
So did you come up with the chicken recipe?
Yes, we got actually, we had a recipe, bit of it, and then we added more to make it more spicy and stuff.
Plans are in the pipeline for the business to expand in the next few years.
I had so many proposals from Vanuatu, from Papua New Guinea, Samoa, asking us to give us a franchise. Well, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not confirmed yet. And also, I'm thinking of opening up another outlet in Lautoka.
Nath admits family support has taken the company through the years.
My family actually, Suzanne Nath, she's been very, very supportive with thing. Also my daughters, they're also helping us in the business. And my eldest brother, Rajendra Nath, he's actually, I taught him how to do the recipe. He's the only one knows the Wishbone recipe and nobody else. So it's a secret recipe, and he's involved in that. And also my other brother, Bilda, who does all the building for me, Jagendra Nath. He does all the setup, builds all the restaurants.
Apart from being a very passionate businessman, Nath is also a celebrated car racer. He has won more than 50 awards in his career as a sports car driver. He holds the record for quarter-mile race, 9.75 seconds. He has this advice to aspiring business persons.
They should have a knowledge of what they want to do. Like, if you have a knowledge about restaurants, then it's good. You open it and then you'll be successful. But if you have no idea about your, restaurant you're going to open, if you employ somebody, then you're going to have a difficulty. So you should have a background, to open something that you know about it.
Last year, the business had a turnover of $15 million and paid $1.7 million in tax to the government. Rashka Kumar, FPC News.
Coming up on FPC Sports, Netha boxer gets fight of a lifetime. And Suva keeps unbeaten streak intact.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Singapore.
I love Mirchi FM, it's so hot.
Deke me lal khaye me high. Tangi tauwa me Mirchi FM is hot.
Here at Rugby Town, Singapore, love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Suva.
It's hot.
Mirchi FM, bo julum.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Welcome to FPC Sports. Now, current Fiji middleweight champion Opeti Tangi has been given a chance of a lifetime to put Fiji boxing on the world map. The Netha Series slugger flew out early this morning to fight for the WBC Intercontinental Super Middleweight title against Australian Ryan Breese in Melbourne on August 17th. A win for Tangi will guarantee him a top 20 world ranking by the WBC in the Super Middleweight division. And how can we go on the next story without wishing Opeti Tangi all the best? The Suva football side kept its unbeaten run in the Fiji Sun Skipper Tuna National Football League after defeating Navua 3-2 at the ANZ Stadium. The hosts found themselves on the back foot as Navua scored the opening goal through striker Marika Wanganimbao. Suva regained its composure with Nikhil Chand, Ini Amboko and Peter Rambo scoring a goal each to keep the capital city side's unbeaten streak intact. And meanwhile, in the second Super Premier match this afternoon, Lautoka defeated Rewa 1-0 at Churchill Park. The Ratu Kandavulevu School under-18 rugby side were crowned Eastern Zone champions yesterday after defeating Queen Victoria in the final yesterday. Only 1 point separated the two teams at halftime, with the scores at 11-10 before the boys from Londoni pulled through after the breather. RKS, QVS and playoff winner Leline Memorial School will now progress to the national quarterfinals. Meanwhile, all teams in the various grades were not only fighting for top honours but also in the playoffs to qualify for the Dean's competition, which kicks off next weekend. The Makoi Bulldogs Rugby League side continued its fine form in the Vodafone Cup after defeating Nambua Broncos 14-7 yesterday. The two rival sides were evenly matched, but the 2012 champions, with the services of former Fiji Mbati John Wesele, managed to scrape through in the end. Another top 8 results yesterday. Saru Dragons thrashed Nandera Panthers, defending champion Sambeta Roosters edged Burenutu Cowboys, and Police Sharks defeated Top Line Warriors. Fine weather prevailed over most places in Fiji today. Our trough lies east of Solomons and extends southeastwards over to Fiji to the south of Tonga. Well, Mombasa recorded a high of 31 degrees on our temperature chart today. Savu Savu had the lowest on 27 degrees. Now tomorrow it will be fine in all centres in the morning, but by the afternoon there will be some cloudy periods with afternoon showers. As for the further outlook, some showers over most places. Southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas and moderate southerly swells. Our top stories once again: vehicle vandalism, stones thrown at vehicles with Fiji First logos and banners. Campaign heat up, Bainimarama and Rewa chief exchange words on government policies. A new school policy to protect students from natural disasters. Now on to our Fijians Speak segment. This is what some Fijians had to say today.
want the leaders of Fiji to be talking about work, food and freedom for truth, justice and peace.
What we need here in Taveuni is water and electricity.
About living, of course, is too high about this government. People are just suffering for every day.
And you can receive the latest headlines on your mobile phone. Text subspace FPC to 777. That's all from us. I'll be back on Saturday. Until then, have a safe and productive week. Modemada.
Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel. I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about Batu Cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.